Start with fire, add oil, let it simmer. From the crew at 58 Surf and Stab, this isn't just a podcast, it's a sensory experience. Fresh from the coast, full of flavor, and prepared to perfection. Well, kinda. This is 58 Surf and Turf. Let's get cooked.
The weight on my my jersey was so much more.
Yeah.
I was feeling nervous, man. My first year I was feeling nervous.
Really?
Because here in Portugal too, it was like, I was on the media, it was sort of big. It was sort of big when I qualified. So I felt it, and being by myself, dealing with that pressure. Even though I was mentally more ready and stuff, I think it was a little bit also, on my first year, I was a little bit lost in terms of material. I was switching shapers a bit, I surfed with Darren and James, Chill, and JS. I was not really fully established in my mind.
Yeah,
in my first year. And then I would get to the sort of like the barrel venues. I would surf Arakawas, which was really good for me because I was more easily decided. Barrels, I'll take the Arakawas.
Yeah.
While when I was surfing turns, I was really kind of lost on my first year. And yeah, I didn't have an amazing first year, although I had the third in Bali, in Uluwatu. Again, sort of like close to my first QS years, I couldn't get like a consistent year.
Okay. So
I backed my first year with a QS double qualification. And there was a commitment on our side and our team that it was like the first year you have to stay there no matter what.
Yeah.
So that was the goal, Although I was doing okay, I could have qualified via the CT. I was just not feeling confident enough, And back then, I think judges would sacrifice rookies way more than nowadays. Nowadays, you have so many amazing rookies that judges are like, hands down, like, this guy's scoring because he's a fucking phenom. But back then, the rookies were really crucified with little errors.
Okay.
And, I would finish a wave. I thought I had an 8 and it was a 6. I was like, fuck, really? I can't do anything more, It's like this type of, a lot of 5s, a lot of chopped 5s. And it was like sometimes really tough to deal with those, with that. And I'll go on the QS and was having 7s and 8s every event,
Yeah.
So it was good that I was able to stay there for my second year, even though it was with a QS spot, because on my second year I was completely different.
Yeah.
And I only really qualified via QS once, was that first year. Then I kind of made my mind, and I was more comfortable with my jersey, my spot on tour.
Yeah.
A lot of kids, they and don't forget, this is on the 44 men's era.
Yeah.
So there was this big discrepancy from top 16 guys to the 30 guys left,
Yeah.
And I was on the bottom 30, So I remember even back then with the Surfline power rankings. Remember those?
Oh, yeah.
Lewis Samuels.
I was getting, smashed by that guy. And all this kind of touched me, emotionally, because you feel like you don't belong. And then there's a guy like
just writing you off.
Yeah. And then, yeah. But at the end of the day, whenever it matters, I made my point.
Yeah. Interesting.
Let me get one question about the first year that Uluwatu, right, where you beat it, Kelly Slater and all that. First guy on that year to beat Kelly Slater. First guy on tour to beat Kelly Slater. I think there's a funny story if you would like to tell us about it, about your caddy, Nick von Roop. Can you tell us that story?
Well, Nick Lau was 18. He was 18.
That's a funny one.
And I was in Bali. I needed a caddy he was around. So Nick Lau, you're gonna caddy for me tomorrow. Come. got my eats, show up, and he comes, and actually he was sort of dating Kelly's sister-in-law, the
Okay.
younger one, Olima.
Yeah.
Nick was dating Olima, and then I think back then during that Bali event they were kind of separated, and she was going out with another guy. This story, and then Nicolau got really drunk the night before our heat
Yeah.
and calls Olima or whatever. And Olima probably passed the phone to Kelly or whatever, and he starts screaming at Kelly, thinking it was another guy.
Yeah.
So he screamed at Kelly. This was like late at night. I don't know the story. Nicolau is the better guy to tell that story, but I just found out after.
Oh my God.
He was screaming, I'm going to kill him, man. Who are you? You're with my girl.
To Kelly.
To Kelly.
It was funny. And then I actually beat Kelly, and my caddy is Nicolau, the guy that woke him up.
No way.
Yeah.
Please don't tell me it was that next day.
Yeah, it was.
It was the next day.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
And Kelly was able to connect the dots. Like, this is the
don't
man
know.
that was screaming at me.
Yeah. He did.
He was probably laughing about it, but
No,
Wow.
but Nick told me that later that day he
went to apologize.
to apologize to Kelly.
Yeah.
He understood what happened, but
Oh man.
the
That's-
thing is, it actually happened. He said he was going to kill him, and Tiago killed him competitively.
Yeah, I got him in the end.
And he was there watching.
Nice.
That was so funny. Man.
Do you feel like there was an event or even like style of wave that best suited your surfing?
well, all the events that I thought that the waves suited my surfing, I didn't really had results.
Mm-hmm.
And then somehow I kind of got really comfortable in just barrel riding on the backside.
Yeah.
And so in those events, I was not feeling I was like the contender or whatever, but I was feeling comfortable, not stressing because of my boards again.
Yeah.
So I think I perform well on the Pacific leg a lot of times, at Chopu and Fiji. It's consistently throwing big scores, sometimes not making heats, but big scores like 9s, 10s, 9s, 8s
Yeah.
easily. While on the turns like JB and the ways I thought I was going to dominate, I wasn't really getting that type of result.
Interesting.
And then sometimes would be like a, small left, France or trussels.
San
And my
Juan.
surfing would be, I don't know, very effective.
Yeah.
But definitely the events that I thought, well, snapper, you can sort of like, I had a third there. We got lost to Kelly. And snapper, it's sort of similar with Irisara, a little bit of the same sort of wall. So I felt home and I felt good with my surfing there. But J-Bay, people think, it's coming from the point breaks. J-Bay is a point break. J-Bay has nothing to do with Irisara in terms of speeds, in terms of how you approach the lips.
Yeah.
Bells Beach.
Bells Beach, yeah, was comfortable, but never really got major result. But J-Bay, yeah, I think if there's a place where it still hurts not having a big result is J-Bay.
Oh, really?
Because I've always loved watching Tom Curran, and idolized Tom Curran for so many years surfing that wave. And coming from here, I thought I had the same sort of lines reading that wave, and my Portuguese sort of like idol Miguel Forte. It's always a little bit of a Curran as well. So at sunset, that kind of played in my favor.
Okay.
But J-Bay, you have to surf way faster.
Mm.
And the waves at home, they kind of wait for you, while J-Bay does never
Just
wait
runs
for you.
off.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a complete different game.
Yeah.
And especially when you feel the pressure of a result, of a contest, it's a tough moment to perform,
Interesting.
when you have to sort of like high speed turns, do amazing turns on the rail, but high speeding
Yeah.
while I was doing those type of turns on the slower waves, slower pace,
Mm.
and that kind of, you know, never went past the fourth round at J-Bay, which is, for me, it's kind of shocking,
Yeah, interesting. How did you figure out backhand tube riding? Like, do you feel like you mastered it at some of the reefs here? Or did it was something you picked up on the fly?
I think so. Yeah. And then I just felt comfortable with the position and the way I was stalling, and I don't know. We don't have many lefts here. We have a few, but as a kid, I've always been very barrel driven.
Yeah.
Even though we don't have many lefts, but I was always hunting for lefts, and Carcavelos too. There's like super turbos. There's a few waves that can give you a little bit of a background, and I don't know. It's just for the love of it, I think.
Yeah.
Just loving to be there and grow that confidence on you.
Nice. It's obviously not a left, but do you remember your first time surfing cave?
Yeah, sure.
You gave the name.
Yeah, me and Grego and Paulo and Ruben, we were surfing Cochos one afternoon, and it was very crowded Cochos, very sort of fat, very northerly and glassy. It was like 6 foot glassy, pitch glass, like not a wind. So we were discussing about going there, and that day was just the day. We all paddled there, and we were all together, but kind of like playing in the dark. So we came to a conclusion that whoever made the best barrel that day would name the wave, but there was no name back then.
Wow. Was anybody was bodyboarders hitting it or anything?
Yeah.
There was some bodyboarders. Honestly, I've never seen guys surfing. Myself, I've never seen magazines. You've never seen. There are some bodyboarders that surfed before. There was a name, but I've never heard of the name, and I'm from Midisada.
Yeah.
So maybe guys would call it, but it was like an internal circuit. There was also the theory of one Hawaiian guy doing a QS, Larry Rios or Ross Williams, or I don't know who was, that surfed the cave, but then they thought it was like the next one after cave. It's even more dangerous.
Yeah.
Very, very close to the rock. But no one really made like a
Statement.
a full session and so like a commitment to it. And yeah, we actually kind of like experienced it that day, and although it was very, very different from Koshus and the rest of the waves, it was very thrilling and very the adrenaline we got was a good high.
When did you first see the wave? Was it notorious, just knowing you'd stand on the cliff there and watch these crazy waves? Do you feel like you spent years kind of looking at it and mind surfing it and weighing it up before you finally gave in and tried?
I was 20 when I went there, so it wasn't so many years, but the wave is very, very accessible. It's probably the easiest wave to get a lineup shot in Midisada. You see it from everywhere,
Yeah.
sitting on that top of that point there. But I've watched it a few times, mostly from coaches. You see those nuggets,
Yeah.
and you kind of dream about being inside of one of them. And then we had that surf, and then we started going more and more often. Usually during the winter time when I was sort of in between seasons. But we had some fun sun sessions there
Nice.
for sure.
Was it how was it juggling? Obviously you were very focused on competition throughout the bulk of your career, but how did you juggle kind of hunting waves and free surfing and trying to beat the world's best surfers on tour?
Yeah, it's a tough one, huh? I as a guy that likes adventure, I think I missed that part of my life when I was on tour and committing to a professional career, because my goal was always so hard to get.
Yeah.
I couldn't really have space in my mind to really focus on another type of events. So to be honest, it's a little bit of a blur in my mind, but when I stopped competing, that's when I sort of like organized my ideas and wanted to be a little bit more adventure again. I really like that type of our sort of life,
Yeah.
and I think it's beautiful. But once you get responsibilities, compromises with brands and all that comes with your career, it's tough to sort of
Juggle everything.
yeah, very, very tough.
Speaking of that, you were sponsored by two of the biggest surf brands, Billabong and Quicksilver. You had a quite a good when you went back to Quicksilver. You had quite a good sponsorship, and the contract was talked about. I remember it was maybe 12 years ago.
From 2011 to
2011, 12, 14 years ago.
Still going.
14 years ago. But you had like
It
big,
was a 10-year contract.
a big contract, a big 10-year contract. Nowadays, surfers, high-level surfers, are fighting for sponsors from surf brands. What do you think about this? And do you think you were lucky to be alive on that time of our lives?
Well, for once, it makes me sad to watch top dogs being without stickers on their boards and not support from core brands. In my case, I think I've went through all the scenarios. I've started, and then during a moment when there's not much investment from the brands, or maybe there was, but away from us.
Mm-hmm.
So I sort of had to live with that in the beginning of my career. Then when I reached the CT and especially towards the back of my career on the CT, I got really good support from the brands. And then eventually all came down a few years ago to a place where it's very tough to swallow. For me, I think our way of living is still very acknowledged around the world, but for some reason it's sort of disconnected from the surf industry a little bit, the core surf industry. And I don't know really who to blame. But even the big brands, they realize that they need to survive, and sometimes that the revenue is not on the competitive surfing anymore so much. Maybe they kind of like they supported us for this amount of years. They supported us so much that they left us como é que se diz, mal habituados. They left spoiled, and we thought that we deserve that, that figure, that amount of money.
Yeah.
So I don't know which is the approach that somehow was wrong. I remember during the high years of surfing, surf brands wouldn't allow any other brands to come in.
Mm-hmm.
They were very, very protective.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of money wanted to be poured, but they were controlling it very much because they wanted to have all the visibility. And then when the market kind of shifted and they start having way smaller numbers, they didn't have maybe the investment coming from outside brands. It wasn't so big anymore.
Yeah.
Because they sort of like they limited it too much. So I don't know, nowadays you still see, all the events are being paid by non-endemic brands. Those brands, they do a good job, we have to thank them every day to be supporting events, but they don't have the responsibility to support the surfers.
Yeah.
That responsibility is more on the core brands. Ultimately, it's more on the WSL side, that leaves out of that show. So I tend to sort of put the blame on the WSL a little bit because for me it hurts me that since 10 years the prize monies have not gone up, and worse, they went down. So they're making less money nowadays than I was making 10 years ago.
Damn.
So for me, that hurts me because I know that back then we already had a few surfers that didn't have sponsors, but they could afford a living with the prize monies. And nowadays that's not even possible, I'd say, especially when they get cut in the middle of the year. So
Yeah.
I think they really fragmented the tour so much and gave it so many little seizures that made the tour bleed too much, you know. So it's tough for me because I'm also having projects where I'm promoting the lifestyle, the career, but I'm almost feeling bad because the career is not so aspiring anymore, you know. And now you have the Olympics, you have way more people surfing, beaches are packed every day.
Yeah, they are.
But somehow we weren't able to fuel it to the pro surfing arena.
Why doesn't that money goes to the pro surfers? Because without the pro surfers, there's no tour, right? No professional surfing. Without the clowns, there's no circus.
Exactly. But I'd say you need to build heroes. And I think nowadays people are watching the tour and the surfers there are less and less heroes and more normal people. And maybe to create heroes, you need to pay them more. You need to make them more inaccessible. You need to put them more in a bubble, and you have to pay them more. Ultimately, in tennis, you just want to see a Grand Slam because of the prize money. Otherwise, it's another tournament.
Yeah,
a bit bigger court or whatever, but there's a lot of money in there, you know. And you remember well the New York event and how much weight
$1 million
and recognition that event had.
Yeah,
of course, was, you know, let's not go on the result side of the brands that sponsor it, but
of course
it was like a dream moment of surfing, pro surfing era, and we thought we would keep going up,
accelerating,
and we did it for a few years, but then we start going down, and ultimately with COVID, just for me, really, it's the management. And I don't want to just say bad things about WSL, but I know it's tough. But I think it needs to be sort of like the angle, it needs to be twisted to the side of the surfers a bit more.
Okay.
You need to put surfers on the spotlight more.
Make them heroes, like you said.
We need to pay them ultimately. Otherwise, they won't be heroes if they not afford a living, you know?
Yeah.
They be poor guys, you know? Poor guys. And how are you going to promote this lifestyle if you make a to the top and you're a poor guy that can afford a living?
Yeah.
So
that's like best case scenario these days. It's making it to the top.
People miss the for example, the fights between Mick Campbell and Andy Irons or something like that, because everything is okay and everything is fine and everything is positive and having fun. The wall of positive noise, you know, maybe that's keeping also the dollars from coming to the surface.
The attention. We lost the attention from the general public eye.
Yeah.
And now it's hard to get it back. I think you need to twist it in a way that people get sort of like attracted to it, very strongly attracted to it again. And I don't see it any other way. For me, the media cut is bullshit. It's like I've always been very critical about it. I think it's a lack of respect for a surfer, for an athlete.
You don't plan for a half season. You plan for a season as an athlete, right?
Yeah, totally. And the way to get there is somehow a very tough one. And to be there few months and drop
See you
in the
later.
middle of the year. It's
3 months.
it's 3 months. It's tough, man. So it's sort of like unrespectful for the athletes, and it kind of shows sort of like the panorama of things in WSL. You know,
Yeah.
if you can go ahead with that for a few years, you can go ahead with all the other, you know, bad little seizures that they introduced. So man, I wish them the best. And really, you need to produce heroes again. That's the main thing.
Pros before bros, but surfing pros, right?
Get us Andy and Kelly.
Yeah.
Bring Kelly again. Bring back Kelly.
And Saca.
Saca. Do you have an event that sticks out as the best waves or just the best time, even if you didn't get a crazy result? Like any event during your time competing that you were like, this is just kind of the peak?
I think Fiji, on my first year, Fiji, although I lost with a 9 something, I lost Costage at a 10. I remember being, it was like a evening at Cloud Break, and it was just perfect. It was like 6 to 8, maybe 10 foot, some sets. It's just perfection, you know, and something that I've always dreamed about, surfing those conditions on that tour, and suddenly I'm part of that, and just watching the waves, man, it's just a blessing already, you know.
Yeah.
Just watching the waves going, and you know, making a wave and hearing that I made like a 9 point something, and then it was just felt really dreamy. And Fiji has always had that sense, always had that energy on you. But really, I don't have like a particular one. I think a lot of those places are really magical places.
Yeah.
And everybody would say so if they go there. Even J Bay, and you know, even Snapper, man. Snapper can be so nice. Although
especially when you get it out with only one other person.
exactly, when you're behind that rock, knowing that the next set is yours.
Yeah, that's a good
And
feeling.
it's like 6 foot, and it's draining. Man, it's an amazing place and an amazing sport. And I just hope they're able to sort of like bring it back to life again and give it the recognition the surfers deserve.
Yeah. Do you have a wave that sticks out as the best wave of your life, whether it's in a heat or a free surf?
On tour or on free surf as well?
Yeah, just generally speaking, what was the best wave of your life?
Well,
Don't say cautious, please.
it's a tough one. But Cautious definitely is in there.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I don't know. I remember one time in restaurants in Fiji, that contest that Kelly won, big restaurants, against CJ, or I don't know who was it, CJ or Damien, or it's an amazing event.
Yeah.
And I went surfing right after the final. I just remember getting one wave at restaurants that had like 2 big barrels, and the color, and you know, the way I was seeing all the curls and the barrels and the sucky, how do you say, suckiness, I don't know.
The way the water was like,
the way the water was moving and
off the reef.
sucking, exactly, and the colors, I felt that was like not human.
Yeah.
That moment. But that, I don't know, man, that's one of the waves, you know. It's not, I don't have a wave that I remember the first time I went to Skeleton Bay, and although I don't have this wave on video because it was very foggy in the morning, I went there with the Quickie team for a photo shoot. First wave, first time there. You know, I kind of hair dropped on the backside, not really, couldn't see much
Yeah.
what was going on. And then suddenly I'm inside this barrel, and it just keeps going. And I just see little heads sometimes every now and then, but I felt that I was on the barrel for like, I don't know how long,
Wow.
you know, and just see one head at a time, sometimes showing up and screaming and not understanding what was going on at all.
Just locked into the vortex.
And I got to the last barrel. I had 3 barrels on that wave, and I was like, I cannot share this with anybody. You know, I was pissed.
Yeah.
I was pissed. Like, I know there's some guys, you know, they were watching as they were passing. I had no camera, no GoPro, whatever. It was foggy,
Yeah.
and I was sort of like in the middle of the wave. I was screaming. And no one really sees it, you know. So you're like pissed at the end of the wave. I'm like,
Don't even know if it's
the
real
best
or
wave
not.
of my life, you know.
Yeah.
And I come in, I don't know where I am. It's just sand and dead animals on the sand. And it's just like, what happened? You know? What sort of life is this?
Wow. That sounds similar in some ways, but very different from Fiji.
But the
Just
fog, you
way
know, the fog aspect in surfing, it makes it very sketchy and mystical, you know,
yeah.
because you don't see things so well, you know, like there's not the same amount of references, you know, and suddenly it's you and the wave and that's it.
Pure instinct.
No one around,
Pure instinct.
nothing.
Yeah.
And it's somehow very deep and touchy when you're surfing these foggy places
Mm.
with nice conditions.
Yeah.
It just makes it more sort of like creepy, I'd say, and
Definitely.
heavy.
Yeah. Yeah. A little bit of sunlight goes a long way.
When you look at your professional surfing career, do you from 2025, do you look at it as a dream that you dreamt, or do you still feel it real?
No, it feels more.
I'm asking more that young kid that was driving his scooter back and forth from Lisbon to
No, it
Adelaide.
feels like a blink of an eye. You know, it feels like the blink of an eye for sure, very quick. But you know, I've had my fair share of moments on tour that made it feel realistic, real. So nowadays, you know, I'm 10 years, almost 11 years of quitting, and you know, quitting sort of like the surf performance life. I'm still surfing, but I don't have to perform anymore. Now it's getting back to that stage, and again, that longevity. You know, it looks like a dream again, because I'm sort of like in a way away from it again. Same as the beginning when I was a kid, like it was so distant from me. But you know, I've had good 20 years that I was really living it, and you know, it's part of me, and you know, all the decisions evolve around that life, and that you know, pretty special, I'd say. I think I was we used to say that luck luck, how do you say this? Luck is luck gives you a lot of work. But I feel like a lucky guy, you know.
Yeah.
I'm still alive, and I'm still well, you know, in terms of health, and was able to live that sort of dreamy life that I had. That teach me a lot of stuff, you know. And yeah, I feel like a blessed guy for sure.
Nice. If you had one piece of advice that you give to a kid who's in your shoes, well, let's say on your scooter actually, rather than in your shoes, any kid that's you know, on the other side of that, what would you tell them?
I would just tell him to follow his to follow his passion. You know, I think it doesn't need to necessarily be on the pro surfing life. It can be somewhere else. But just everything worked for my side because I was really going after my dream. That's why I didn't give up so easily, you know. And it was tough for sure. It was tough. Nothing for granted, never. But I was running after a passion, a very strong, you know, desire that had inside of me, and that sparkle never really left until I felt I was touching it. But I think that's the secret. You need to do stuff. Life is too short to do stuff that you don't like. And nowadays you can be so creative. But of course, things they need to be well done in terms of. So you want to succeed, you need to do them correctly, you need to do them well, you need to think about them a lot and pros and cons, but it's always easier if you're doing something that you love, and I know it sounds like makes these
Cliche.
yeah,
Cliche.
sounds like a cliche, but it's really what life is about, man. Otherwise, there's no point, I'd say.
When you go in the water, do kids recognize you still? Do they know that you were the first Portuguese surfer on a high level of
Not well
surfing?
Some you can tell straight away when they recognize me, but a lot of kids, they don't recognize me. It's funny, especially on this era of kids that are athletes. They're not surfers, they're athletes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you going surfing? No, I'm going training.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
There's waves. Get out there.
You go surf. You're not going to you don't have to wait for your coach to go surf. You go surf now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about training, and the result, and this is why sometimes things don't go on their side, because they're sort of being commanded. They're not commanding it. So
Yeah.
I think that dictates the success.
Interesting.
How's your life right now? What are you doing? What do you call yourself now?
A lot. I'm doing too much.
And accidentally
So
getting.
you're not a professional surfer anymore. Okay, but
No.
what do you
Not
do?
at all. I'm still involved with surfing. I founded my little own agency that does events and does this talent management. We do social media nowadays as well. We changed the name of the place. We started off as React Sports Management because I was coming back from my career and I really wanted to orientate the business to mentoring athletes. So React was coming from the reaction of not giving up as an athlete, and it went for a few years like that until last year when a partner stepped in, Laurent, a Swiss friend, and so now we're two. So we started sort of like a new project. That's why it's Twin Fin. We do social media as well with brands, but I'm still very much involved with the athletes, with the events that I sort of envision, and it's been fun because it's a lot of work and it was very challenging for me to sort of go into this world of looking at the computer, looking at spreadsheets and numbers and
Yeah.
workbooks, and it's very non-physical
Yeah.
and very mental, which for me it's a different type of tiredness. And then of course I've got 3 kids and beautiful wife and family that I've always dreamed, and it's the challenge of the day by day life, but definitely happy. I'm in a good moment. What I want to sort of like protect is I have time. I can manage my time. If I need to take a day off and spend the day with my kids, I'll do it. So I'm not that ambitious to sort of build multi-million-dollar businesses. I'm not that driven.
Yeah.
I just want to have a good life, have time for my family, surf when I can, and sort of like at the end of the day, like I think I had my career in surfing. I left my legacy there. Now I just want to be a normal citizen that had a good, honest life.
Yeah, and sometimes accidentally gets good waves.
Sometimes gets into a barrel or two.
Staying creative, like your brother was
Yeah,
an
yeah,
artist.
for sure. No, and it's fun
Runs in the
because
family, I think.
my projects, I always try to somehow protect the creators, coming from different areas. One of my events this year, we are doing like an art exhibition and we inviting artists from all over the country to be with us and to help them as well, spreading their missions and their words. So I try to get inventive, creative, and help everybody around. So
Yeah. Any chance your brother's goofy foot?
no,
Okay.
totally regular.
I've heard a theory about it's kind of far out there, but just like left brain, right brain stuff,
Yeah.
Somebody
No,
suggested that goofy foot
Yeah.
are sometimes more like artisty.
no, he does surf sometimes better
Pretty
than
good.
me. Yeah,
Yeah.
Pretty
for
good.
sure.
Nice.
Some sessions it beat me for sure.
Wow.
If he gets on, if he's on.
I mean, you can't let your younger brother win too many, huh?
No.
Nice. Well, Miguel, anything else?
No, I'm totally fine.
Oh,
We
thanks.
would stay here for 2 hours more, so let's go.
Sweet. Thanks for the time. It's a
It's
pleasure.
You,
fun, guys.
Cool.
So when we get to eat this meal,
Right now, here you go.
you got it.
Cooked it just for you.
it's a Japanese filet, huh? Japanese steak.